the applicant.
Okay, there you go.
Sorry, what did you say, Chanel?
You're there and ready with the.
Yes, I am.
Yes, okay, thank you.
I can
Are we
assist.
ready in the room?
Yes.
This is Community Board 2 Landmarks Committee for July. Number of applications this evening. We welcome back Valerie De La Rosa, the chair of the board, who is sitting on the committee this evening. So she's not the chair, she's the committee member. I get to boss her for a change. Just say, I believe we have a few new applicants who have not been here before. We hear the application, there are questions from the committee, from guests, from the public. And then at the end of the presentations, we'll have a business session when we form the resolutions. Importantly, the Landmarks Committee hears the applications that are not all inclusive of a project. They have to do with the appropriateness of the activity, whatever it is, a building or modifications, to the community and the neighborhood and certain regulations. And from the public as well, we appreciate that the testimony be limited to landmarks considerations. Thank you. The first application, if you can bring them up, please, Eugene, is 42 Jane Street. The application to install a small stoop gate at the front entrance.
Right, Jesus, if there's anyone else that needs to be promoted, please raise your hand in the Zoom. Otherwise, you can go ahead and start sharing your screen.
We're ready. Tablet up there. You're ready.
Yeah, I need some notes, you know.
You need to mute yourself. Okay. And your speaker.
Should I share my screen now?
Yes, please.
You have the maps.
Hello.
Ready for proceeding?
Ready?
Okay, yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jesus Toro. I'm here to represent 42 Jane Street property. First of all, I want to thank all the Manhattan Community Board for giving us this space and the opportunity to share an important issue related to property located at 42 Jane Street. In order to start describing the issue stated by the homeowner, I would like to invoke the New York Real Property Law, section right to exclude, which states that as a homeowner, you have the legal right to prevent others from entering or staying on your property without consent. We are facing a big safety, security, and hygiene issue because of the presence of homeless and stranger people sitting, sleeping, smoking pot, and leaving stools and dregs and food debris, which attracts bugs and rats at the staircase located at the entrance of the property. It is happening every day. And as I mentioned, it is causing safety, security, and hygiene issues to the family. As a first instance, we installed a chain in order to prevent homeless and stranger people from entering on our property, but it didn't work as we thought, as people jump the chain and continue accessing on our property. It has created a big concern to us since we have met these people, homeless and stranger people, on our way out from home. We have asked them to move in a respectful way. However, they react in an aggressive way to us. This situation has brought a lot of panic and bad feelings to our family. For that reason, we're asking to the Landmark Preservation Commission for permit to install a small stop gate at front of the property, which make us feel safer, cleaner, and more secure from homeless and stranger people. The proposed stoop gate design will follow the 16 landmark ironwork alignments and aesthetic design located at the front of the property. It will also promote historic site preservation, and at the same time, it's going to promote security for the property. As I mentioned, with the stoop gate, we will feel safer, cleaner, and more secure from homeless and stranger people who are causing all these worries to the family. As shown below, the property is located at the Greenwich Village Historic District, highlighted in yellow. We also brought in this slide a map of approved stoop gates in the area. We also brought a comparison from the historic photo from 1940. On the right side, we can see the existing conditions of the property nowadays. We also had some adjacent pictures of the property. Basically, the description of the work is, we mentioned, we want to install a security ornamental iron stoop gate at the bottom step of the existing front stair of the property shown of the elevation drawing. That's going to show in the next slide. Now we can see an image of the property without the proposed gate. And on the right side, we can see the rendering that tell us how it's going to look like the gate after installation. We can see another image of the rendering. This is basically a proposed gate details. That was sent by the manufacturer. Everything is going to be made at a shop here in New York. Basically, the installation is going to last 1 hour because everything is going to be ready at the time when the gate arrives at the property. We also brought some dimension and measures that is going to show us how it's going to look like after installation. Also, we can see some connections points, everything, how we're going to perform this work at the work site. We also brought some examples of approved stoop gates that have been made by the Landmark Preservation Commission. We had 70 Christopher, 138 Waverly, and other properties that you can observe. I want to thank again for your time, for giving us the opportunity to share this big issue that is affecting our family. Thank you.
Sir, this is a typical 25-foot or so wide house.
Say that again?
The house, if you go back to the, well, I won't talk about the rendering there. It's a very distorted perspective here, but from the plan, it looks as though it's a standard width.
Yeah, standard width, yeah. That's going to, the width is basically
Yeah,
94.
okay, I'm sorry, I see the dimensions now. So it's 94 inches.
Yeah, 94
Just need
inches.
to keep that in mind because the drawings and the pictures are considerably distorted.
Oh, okay.
Are there any comments from the committee?
Could I get your name again?
Jesus Toro.
So I'm wondering where the details on the new gate are coming from. Are they in fact exactly like the fence?
Yes, yes, that's going to be recreate at same alignments of the system ironwork located at the front of the property. Hold on a second. You can see right here,
Okay, so those,
everything is recreated according to the alignments of aesthetics design of the existing ironwork located at the front.
that's important. There is a gate on that fence to go down into the lower level.
Yes,
Okay. I noticed that it's almost 8 feet wide.
yeah,
From post to post. That's exceptionally wide, maybe, I don't know, but that means when these gates open, it's gonna really go out into the sidewalk quite a bit. Are these self-closing gates? Will it always close by itself?
yeah. We have that mechanisms that they are self-closing.
I think that's all that I have right now.
Anyone else? Are there members of the committee here? Dana, do you have comments? Anyone from the public? Okay, thank you very much. We'll move on to the second.
Thank you, thank you.
We have these all the time, so we are
Yeah.
familiar with the routine. The next is 14 Leroy Street. To modify the rear wall windows. When you're ready, Eugene, let us know.
There's a button to
Promoting Erica Sheffield to
where the.
present. Um, Eric is rejoining the conference as a presenter.
Oh, you have to go to view. Top.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's fine.
Can you see me now?
Yep.
Great. Thank you for having me. My name is Eric Sheffield. I'm the architect for the project at 14 Leroy Street. The project is located on Leroy Street between Bleecker and Bedford Streets on the south side of the street. The area of work is the rear of the building at the parlor level. We're basically expanding windows and doors there to allow more light and air into the back parlor level of the house. Typically, this type of a proposal would be able to be approved at staff level. But in this case, we have an empty lot on Carmine Street directly behind us that allows for a partial view of the parlor level from Carmine Street, which then raises this to the level of needing to go before the commission and also coming here to present to you what we're proposing. The townhouse itself is was built as a single family home in 1835. It then had major alterations in 1872 and 1927. In 1872, a top floor was added to the building, and also a rear extension was added on all of the back of the building, altering the rear facade completely. In 1927, another major alteration took place where the first floor and basement apartments were joined together and the stoop was removed and the main entrance was the stoop was removed, so then the main entrance was down through the stair to the basement level to enter the building and get to the other apartments. Also, I failed to mention in 1872, it was converted from a single family home to a multiple dwelling, which had stayed that way for many years. Moving to, we have some Sanborn maps that I'm sure you're used to seeing here. This is a lovely one from 1845 showing the original building, and it was kind of a row of other townhouses here. This was built separately though, and it lined up with the rear of the two other townhouses on either side of it. By 1899, the rear extension had been added along with the top floor. And then moving forward to 1904 and 1916, you can see more additions were made on the backs of buildings, and the yards between changed their character a bit. By 1955, you have the Church of Our Lady of Pompeii on the corner here of Bleecker and Leroy. And later on, we're going to discuss this little two-story building, a little house with a cellar, and the four-story with a cellar house here is where the empty lot is now. This was taken away somewhere between 1940 and 1980. Here we show the front of our building, although we're not proposing any work on the front facade at 14 Leroy Street. You can see this 1940 tax photo shows the new floor on top, and also that 1927 removal of the stoop, now having the entrance down to the basement level. And then you have this always shaky 1980s photo showing the facade had been painted at some point. Going to Carmine Street, here is that two-story, 2.5-story building I was telling you about that was torn down somewhere between 1940 and 1980, and the rectory that was built by the church. You can start to see also that the building next door was taken down for this empty lot. The empty lot is at 29 Carmine Street. So you can see this mixed-use building from 1940 with its interesting little storefront. And then the empty lot from 1980s. And you can see here in the background, this is 14 Leroy Street here. These are photos of the other side of the empty lot. You can see the original building here and then the empty lot being created next to it. And these are the current photos of Carmine Street looking back at 14 Leroy Street. 14 Leroy is this lighter townhouse in the distance here. And so this is from across Carmine Street. And then when you're on the sidewalk looking through the bars at the back of 14 Leroy Street here. And then if you poke your camera through and really zoom in, this is a tight view of the back of 14 Leroy Street. You can see these three French doors here, and the brick piers between them is what we're proposing to remove to add more glass to the windows and doors to allow more light and air into this parlor level. This facade is actually from a 2015 approved Landmarks Commission approved filing, which is this set of drawings. So in 2015, the rear facade originally looked like this configuration, which had a variety of different window types and sizes and locations, a fire escape. This was the proposed layout in 2015 that was approved by the commission. Again, altering the back of the facade with the three sets of French doors. And then here is the current configuration of the back facade. And this is our proposed change at the parlor level, which is opening up that parlor level and basically taking out the three sets of French doors and the two brick piers between them to allow a lot more light and air into the parlor level. This is a close-up of that same area. And so basically we're just taking out the three sets of French doors and the brick piers between them and installing the new windows and doors to let in that light and air. These are floor plans, again, showing these three sets of French doors at the back being removed, the two brick piers being removed, and the new set of French of doors and windows to allow more light and air in. And this is our rendering of the rear facade. Again, all the work is at this parlor level, opening up to allow more light and air. And then this is actually what it looks like with the fence there. with the trees that are there. The original picture was from February, so it didn't have trees, leaves in the trees. There's also more planting that's going to take place here. So most of this will be obscured. Again, typically this kind of a proposal would be approved at staff level, but for the open lot on Carmine Street, which allows this partial view all the way through. And so that's our project. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
How high is the fence?
This is a 6-foot high fence at the moment. And that's currently, there's no plans to change that. There is planting going to be happening behind it. So most of this will be obscured by the time all the landscaping and everything is done.
Okay, and can you say about, it's a little more than one row of paints, about how much shows above it?
Let me go back here and see if I can find
If
a,
you, actually, to say one row of paints is, I think, adequate. So
yeah, I think it's one row of paints, yes.
does the committee have questions?
Yeah, it's about 2.5 feet, a little more than 2.5 feet.
I have a question. Can you go back to the drawing? The proposed and the before and after?
The rendering,
Yeah, the rendering.
sure.
Oh,
These are both, or you want to go to the drawing that shows?
so that actually this is better. So is that just like the diamond shapes and that kind of
Yeah, the diamond shapes are just showing where the hinges are. Those won't actually be there.
Oh, okay.
Those are
I
just,
didn't know if that was an aesthetic
no, nothing that exciting. They just represent that those are windows in the middle and a door, and they are hinged on the side where the triangle goes to. You won't see that. The glass is clear. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a little.
I don't know if it was some sort of glasswork. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no, it's a good question, and we put them in because we're used to seeing them, but definitely throws you off when you see it in a rendering.
Okay, thank you. A beautiful rendering.
Compliment the room. I'm having a terrible time hearing.
You're here having trouble hearing us in the room or other?
Oh, I couldn't tell who was asking the question even.
Oh, it was me, Chanel. It was Valerie.
Oh,
But-
okay.
Yeah.
It was okay. I
And this,
think I got the gist of it, so we'll move
Yeah.
on.
this is Brian and Eric. Would you go back to the floor plan and show where, about how much of an addition was put on to the back? And what year did you say that was done?
There was the original addition in 1872, where they added the rear and then the top floor. And I believe the original is somewhere back here, kind of, let's see if I can draw a line here. Hold on. I think the original is somewhere back here.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's completely gone, and they not only added on, but then they added a top floor to it. And then they changed it, altered it several times. There was the original, adding of the rear, and then there was the 2015 changes also. So no
do you
original
have-
fabric on the rear there.
Yeah, so you have a detail of the lintel or the header of the new opening.
I don't have one on this drawing set, unfortunately. I apologize.
Could you just show that rendering then again? And
Sure, let me see if I can get here. Here we go. Clear all, and we'll go back here. Yeah, and the lintel itself was going to be have brick embedded into it, so it would disappear, so you'd only see the brick. It wasn't going to show the lentils.
would you say that that's the kind of treatment that the existing windows have?
Yes.
Is that what you're replicating?
Yeah.
Okay, Chanel, that's it.
Okay, are there any members of the board here? Any members of the public wish to speak? Okay, thank you. Thank you for the presentation, and we'll move on.
Thank you.
104 Greenwich Avenue. Restore the front facade, install an areaway, and construct a rooftop penthouse addition.
All right, I'm gonna share my screen.
If any of this is that I've just read is being considered by the staff, please be clear what that is.
Okay, will do. I'm gonna call it only the things that we're gonna review in this. So as you said, this is 104 Greenwich. You can see in this image, this is where we are in the Greenwich Village Historic District. We're on Greenwich right at where Jane Street T-bones it. So this on the far right is the building as it is today. The middle is the 1940s tax photo, and on the far left is the 1980s. And actually I'm going to quickly go to the next slide to show you this. So this is a photo taken of our block. You can see our house 104 Greenwich at the middle. And I want to specifically note 102, which is on the right side. So 104, our building, and 102 have a storied history of additions. Both of these buildings were built in 1829 by Linus and Hiram Little. They were originally 2.5-story buildings. In the 19th century, both of them underwent an addition to become 3-story. And in 1904, ours had another addition to become 4-story. I'm not sure when 102 became a 4-story with the addition of the studio and dormer, but at some point it did. And then in the 1920s, again, we had another addition, which was the front parapet that was raised, and our studio window on the 4th floor was put in. So by the time of these tax photos, all of that had already happened. Additionally, between the 1940s and 1980s, when these tax photos were taken, you can see that the front windows went from 4/4s to 2/2s. I'm not going to go through those windows, but for this presentation, but it will sort of come into play later. The parlor level windows, the sills were raised, and when those windows became 1/1s. And then maybe more important to this presentation, you can see in this 1920s photo, the cellar windows had grates in front. The sills of the cellar windows actually dropped down significantly. And it's very hard, I mean, you can't really see it in the 1980s, but you can see today how those windows were closed up. And the existing areaway was cemented over. What is helpful to see is at 102 and at many buildings on this street, those cellar windows still exist at their existing sill height, and there is a grate that extends past them. I think you can see it. Yeah, you can see it a little better in this. So those are the changes that have happened through time. And I should also mention that the previous owner had actually updated this studio window approved by LPC. You can see its transformations in these 3 images. It started out as steel. It's now this aluminum with thick profiles. So this is on the right is the existing elevation. On the left is the proposed. So the 3 specific things that we are talking about at this community board hearing are the penthouse addition, the studio window, the change in the studio window. We will not be talking about any of the window changes or the front door. And then we will be going down to talk about bringing the areaway back, bringing the window sill height down again, and adding this gate at the front. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the studio window. So this is the existing condition. This was previously approved by Landmarks, by the previous homeowner. And so as you can see, the what used to be a steel window has sort of become this a bit more closed off. Everything is a lot thicker. The window operation, we're not proposing to change, and I don't believe it has changed over time. These will be double casement or French windows. As you can see here, and has always been the case, there were these transoms. What we are proposing is something that is more in line with the ratio, the proportions of what will become, and this is why I said this is coming back into play, what will become the 4/4 windows on the front facade. Again, these are the historic proportions of those windows that we're bringing back. So as you can see, actually in this elevation, the new casements will speak a bit more to these original windows below. In order to do that, we are removing the transom configuration. So that's these. Again, these will not be steel, but we're getting these back a little bit closer to the proportions of the old steel windows. So that's that for the windows. I'm gonna move on now to the
I'm sorry, what is the material for the,
these will actually, we're showing them right now as wood.
well, is that what you're asking for?
Yes, sorry. So then to move on to the penthouse. So a few things that I'm going to be speaking specifically to for the penthouse because of what is and isn't visible. One is obviously the penthouse itself, specifically the roof. Two is, and I don't know if you can see my mouse, but we are proposing to raise the part of the parapet to cover the penthouse. And I'm just going to quickly explain why. So the neighboring chimney, the neighboring chimney and flues, in order to get them per code above the height of our penthouse, we're going to have to extend the flues substantially. And so it's just sort of, we've looked at ways of doing this where we just have our two chimneys that are going to hold these flues, but we think it would look significantly cleaner to basically have this one solid wall at one height. And so you will see that, we'll get into that later, but you will see that as you're walking down Greenwich. Sorry.
And it's
And then-
only the flue above the, oh, okay, I see, yes.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So these are actually, you can see our flues and our chimneys, and we are then essentially filling that area in with wall to make it a bit cleaner. We don't have to do that, but we think that actually looks significantly better. And then the other chimney we have to raise is the neighbor on the other side at 102. So we would be raising their chimney and flues, which is required by code. And in this case, we're saying we would do it in brick. The other neighbor side, we're saying we would do it instead of doing brick, we actually want I'll get to the view, but we actually want it to match the finish of that side wall. So I'll show you that in a second. You will also see this railing at the front of the roof deck. Okay, and then I guess an important thing to note, you have, when you're standing across the street, you'll have 10 inches of visibility of this penthouse. That will change as you go down Jane Street. That will change as you are going down either direction of Greenwich, but I'll show you those views. So this just shows you the floor plan. The roof now has nothing on it aside from the skylight. And what we're proposing now is this penthouse addition and roof deck at the front. So I did talk about this a bit, but I would like to also explain the images on the top right. So we have a current mock-up that is in place right now. We did our walk with our staffer to look at visibility, and I will say that it was quite visible. And so we went back to the drawing board and did everything we could to bring this down. So 3 things we've done. We've reduced the assembly as much as possible of the roof itself by about 3 inches. we have dropped the entirety of the penthouse by 8 inches. In doing so, you now have this step up onto the roof deck, which is not great, but we're willing to do that. It's also going to be a little challenging to waterproof. Again, I think it's important to do these things if we can reduce the visibility. And then we also lower the ceiling height from 8'3" to 8 feet minimum. So that gets us to that 10 inches of visibility. So on the right side, you see these images. I've dashed in and filled in approximately the 1'3" that we've been able to lower this whole penthouse by. On the bottom of this sheet, you'll see on the right-hand side, proposed version 1, that was the previous, that may have gotten confused. Anyways, so our height has come down. The important thing to note is that we have the modified west elevation, etc. These renderings show, you'll see proposed at its lower point. And then on the right, we have what you see in reality with the mock-up, and then as it's lowered, what you see. So this is actually a good way of explaining what we're proposing as a solid wall that you'll see the neighbor's flues extended up along. And then the portion of our penthouse that you will then see, which you can see in black up there. And you do see a little piece of that, the chimney on the other neighbor's side that we have to raise. Then this is looking a bit into Jane Street, so you're pulled back a bit. Again, you'll see even more and more of the penthouse addition as you come back. We are planning to cover as much as possible with the plantings that will be on the roof deck. And then this view is then looking the other way on Greenwich. Again, you can see, when you're on Greenwich, it's fairly minimal what you can see of the penthouse, but you can see some of it. And so this is the precedent images of things that have been approved by landmarks. One, I'm going to start with the bottom of the screen. So this one is so let's see. Yeah, okay, so you can see it down here. So this is for Jane Street that was approved, I believe, in 2022. This is their mock-up. It is currently under construction, so we don't have photos of it as it is now. You can see in the bottom corner, this is their rendering of what they proposed. After the community board hearing, they did actually go and make part of this dormered and did the historic studio window, but you can still see this is the mock-up of what you see with that version. We have a few that are the historic dormer window or historic studio window additions on the top. So 226 West 13th Street is an example of that. 290 to 292 West 11th Street has a little bit of a version of that. It actually has a lot going on, but this is all to say you can see all of the additions they've done. Another historic studio window addition at 238 West 11th Street. This 224 at West 10th Street, which is down here, is interesting there. So you can see the rendering of what they have proposed when there's no obstructions of the trees. But their visibility.
Can you enlarge that, please?
Yes, I can. Okay, so can you can see that? So you can see a substantial amount of their penthouse, and they've done a good job of, they've planted these trees, and so it's obstructed. The visibility that they had presented was over 12 inches. I would believe is about 14 inches. I would say you can probably see more of that if you're not looking straight on. So that's what this shows at 327 West 4th Street, which is closer to us. You have another addition that you have pretty good view of. This is that more historic studio window again, but you can see this is taken from the corner. You can see a good portion of this extension. And then this was an interesting project. that I believe was done by Seldorf. It has a few different types of additions, a studio window, a penthouse. This was a larger construction project, but you can see a decent portion of this from the corner and from the front of the building.
That one actually predates designation, the one you just showed.
This one does?
Yeah, the white part of it.
So yes, that is correct, the white part. So there are parts of this addition that don't, though, I believe. So this part on the side, I believe, was not original. This part
Dark
definitely
part
was.
is what was approved. and
Yeah.
built.
Okay. So those are the precedents, and one of the reasons that we felt like we should try and drop this as much as possible is I went on and looked at this LPC presentation, and I felt like if we can just get below that height, it would feel more within the realm of what's allowed in this neighborhood, in this historic district. So that is the penthouse part of this presentation.
Before we move on.
Oh,
to
yes,
the
yes.
penthouse, how high is the penthouse itself from the roof of the building?
Yes. So I'm going to show this here.
Decided it, you know.
Yeah, so let me zoom in.
And keep this up because my other question has to do.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Let's see if we can. Okay. So did they show? Yeah, okay. So let's just say from the parapet, which is right here, from the parapet, which goes all around the house.
I'm asking from the roof.
From the roof itself. Okay, so we're going up about 8 feet and 8 inches from the roof deck. I mean, the roof slope, so the slope of the roof is a little bit below that at its highest point, but I'm going to say from the roof deck, we're 8 feet,
That's
8
perfect.
inches. Okay.
The other question is, are there any other examples where the addition and the ramifications of it end up with a solid wall between the two chimneys?
I did not specifically look for that. We did find, which may be more existing conditions, where there were solid walls at buildings and the building itself had the extended flues. Actually, I don't have a photo of this, but
Not the question of the extension of the flues, it's the question of span between them so they're no longer two.
right, this. I
we see
didn't,
on the right.
I did not look for that.
Okay.
That would be a good thing for us to look for. I know this wasn't necessarily the question, but the way that this came about was actually, we had seen on this building, which is, multifamily, it's obviously taller, but it was a solid wall with the flues coming up. And so that's how we got to this idea of doing that here. Okay, so I'm gonna keep going through and now go to the front areaway. So the front areaway is currently what used to be this lowered zone has now been concreted over. You can see the neighbor's grate that goes to their lowered area. You can also see the subway shaft. So an important thing to note here is that when the subway came in, the street, elevation, the height of the street or the elevation of the street was raised. And so when that happened, there are different ways that people handled this condition at their front windows. A lot of these grates went in. Some of them were grates that went all the way across. Some of them were just single grates at the windows. But so that's how that was handled. In this case, years later, they then just concreted over this. We do know that the existing light well actually still exists. There's a way that we've been able to access underneath the front stoop. You can see through and actually see it. So it's sort of an odd condition, but what we would like to do is open it back up to the dimension of the neighboring building at 102 Greenwich. So you can see that. So you can see that here. So we would like to open it up to that dimension. as one opening. And we would also like to bring the windows down. So you can see this, windows down to what they previously were. Let me go back up here. So this is what it would effectively look like. So one open areaway, a new railing that would come around the new light shaft. The windows would come down almost to the sill height that they were at before. They probably won't, they will not go all the way down to where they were before. We have no need to do that, but they will come down from substantially from what they are now. And then we will have this new gate that goes in front. Similar to the first presenter, there's issues currently of homeless people that are sort of camping out at the front. So this would sort of help with that problem. We also think this would help to beautify this street that's somewhat run down and, you know, sort of going through a little bit of a.
And you're representing that you're essentially recreating the area, the historic area.
Correct. Yeah, and so that can best be seen here in this section. So this is meant to show what the existing windows and grates look like. This is what the neighbors look like. Again, people did this in different ways. The neighbors had one long opening. Ours had the individual openings. And then around on Jane Street, right by us, 9 Jane Street, you can see here, and I'll zoom in on these images. You can see our building in the background. This is an opened areaway, and from the front, an opened areaway, which mimics what we would like to do. You see these all over the historic district, but we felt it was relevant to show the one that's right around the corner from us. And so that is the areaway, and that's the extent of the presentation.
I'm sorry, you're finished?
Yes, we are finished.
Are there questions from the committee? I've done all my housekeeping.
Well, I would have to say that certainly the view of the addition from the street and standing at the intersection and about where the crosswalk is, which you have a pretty similar photograph that I took that in the upper right-hand corner right there on that image. I would say that the visibility, and if the mock-up is the lower level of penthouse, I see maybe 3 feet of the penthouse. I see a great deal of the railing or fence around the terrace up there. So there's and then of course the chimneys are even more.
The mock-up is higher. So the mock-up was done first. We then went back and revised in drawing form. We have not had time to then revise the mock-up.
Is this going to be?
What is the difference of those two?
The difference of those two is 1'3".
Is this building being remodeled from a multifamily to something else?
Yes. So the previous occupant was one person living in the whole house, but yes, it is going to become a single family home.
Thank you.
Is there a loss of units?
Sorry, could you say that one more time?
Yeah, is there a net or is there a loss of units?
Well, so
How many
inside
units are in the house?
the house currently, it actually only has 1 unit. However, I believe
Retained as 1 unit?
Yeah, I mean it is.
Hey, it's a single family house that will stay a single family house.
It's not currently registered as a single family house, but there will be a change of occupancy. But if you go in, there is 1 kitchen.
Thank you.
Could we see the drawing that, the rendering that we saw when I spoke before?
This
West
one?
side. Is that you call that a north, south, or an east-west street? I call it east-west street. Anyway, that one.
Okay.
This just seems to completely violate the historic character of the house. We're accustomed to penthouses. They show to various degrees, but there's a sense of there being something on the roof, which is what a penthouse is, rather than this sheer wall that looks like a looks like an industrial building, business building. It just doesn't look like a house anymore from that view.
I'm gonna just zoom. Yeah, I mean, it's sort of hard to see
Yeah,
this.
we know, yeah, well, that's
Right.
that's a different, because that's a,
But yeah,
that has that slope and all, so it's a.
right.
the-
But I guess that is an example. Yeah.
And the
Okay.
fact that the two chimneys that were distinctively separate, just things behind a wall, because that's essentially one wall that incorporates them.
Right.
Okay. Are there questions from anyone else?
Yeah.
I had one quick question. Chanel, I have one quick question. If you can go to the, I think there was on the proposed for the fourth floor, there was some note about simulated lights or simulated lighting. I wasn't clear what that was referring to. It's
It could have been simulated divided lights. The windows themselves won't have
previously
true
was
divided lights.
simulated lights.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. So what are the simulated lights?
So for the windows, you can have true divided lights, so the panes are separated
Oh, okay.
truly, or simulated divided lights makes it look like.
Okay.
But for energy reasons, we don't do it anymore.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else at all? Public members? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We will
Oh,
move-
Chanel, there's a question from Dana.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let me allow her to speak or. All right,
Hi. Hi, thank you so much. This is Dina Tasswinter from Village Preservation. And as some of you know, our committee will review the full project when the time comes for it to come to LPC, and we haven't done that formally yet. So I'm really just speaking for myself and from the perspective of what I anticipate we would have. But I guess I just wanted to say that I think that side view with the two chimneys and the wall between it, sort of echoing what Chanel said as well, but especially as you walk, is it north, is it west, northwest on Greenwich Avenue and look back, I think because of the already raised height of this building in relationship to the rest of the row houses on either side, it really just like stands out in a very extreme way. And so I expect that that's something that we will be quite concerned about going forward. So something to think about for the applicant if you have any ideas on how to sort of mitigate that particular view. Thank you.
Could I'm not sure if I can ask a question back, but in looking at this, I do wonder if a way to address that could be to do, I guess, two things, but one, step it back so it's not an extension of the parapet and stays within the parapet, and is also brick, so it's a differentiation of material.
Am I allowed to respond? I think in general, finding a way to kind of create a separation there, which is also sort of what Chanel was saying, to make it really feel like a separate penthouse that is set back in some way, I would need to look at what that
Okay.
proposal is to make a decision, but I think overall that would be the direction to go in to make it feel more like an addition rather than changing this part of the house.
Right. Okay, thanks.
Anyone else, Eugene? Thank you, Dana. We'll move on to the next application. 24 West 10th Street. The application for proposed modification to a previously approved rooftop addition. That's very hard to say.
Okay, I promoted Margaret Tudor.
Can everyone see the screen?
Yes.
Hi, my name's Chris Kitterman. I'm a senior architect at Elizabeth Roberts Architects. This is our presentation for a certificate of appropriateness for 24 West 10th Street. Previously, in April of this year, we received a certificate of no effect for a scope of work that included window replacement on the rear facade and a penthouse addition. This application adds to that scope of work. There are 4 items that we are requesting your approval for with this application. I'll quickly go through those. First, at the front street facade, we are proposing to add a total of 4 planter boxes at each of the existing 3rd and 4th floor double hung windows. The planter boxes are to be painted to match the existing windows, frame/color, and there's no irrigation system proposed. Also on the front facade, we are proposing to replace in kind the 5th floor existing casement windows, hardware and frame profile to match the existing window units. At the roof, we are proposing to raise the proposed penthouse addition that was previously approved, as mentioned at staff level, by 40 inches from a height that was previously approved at 8'2" to a new height of 11'6". This new height aligns with the roof line of an existing penthouse structure at 30 West 24th Street, which I'll show you in a few minutes. In addition, we are proposing approval for an aluminum and steel non-combustible pergola structure attached to the penthouse, along with an extension of the masonry chimneys and flues as required for clearances above the proposed penthouse structure. And the forthcoming mock-up photos that will also show you neither the proposed pergola structure or the increased height penthouse are visible from the street. And then finally, we are requesting approval for a masonry extension above the existing cornice line at the rear facade. The masonry extension height
Can you
proposed.
repeat that, please? Again, just a bit of an echo.
Sure. We're requesting approval for a masonry extension above the existing cornice line at the rear facade. The masonry extension height proposed is 3'9" to provide the required 2-foot clearance above the roof line. We will show you precedent of this type of extension at houses numbers 30, 24, 36 through 28. On the screen, we've highlighted our building, 24, and we are on the south side of West 10th Street between 5th and 6th Avenues. Here you can see 2 existing or 2 previous tax photos from 1940 and 1980. This image shows the collection of townhouses from numbers 20 to numbers 38. And this collection of townhouses were erected in the mid-19th century. They are unified with a continuous 2nd floor brownstone and iron railing and share a common cornice line. The buildings were designed to combine what is described as a rusticated English-style basement with an Italianate style applied to the upper stories. Here are photos of our existing building where you can see those details such as the kind of rusticated entry level, the brownstone and iron railing, and then an image of the building, an aerial image of the building from the rear facade. And the three-dimensional diagrams, I'm showing you both the front and rear facades. And here you can see some of the precedent pergola structures that exist that we'll talk about in a bit more detail. But here you can see our proposed pergola structure as well as the penthouse. This is the existing front elevation streetscape. 24 West 10th is highlighted here, and these are precedent buildings for penthouse additions. And this is our proposed front elevation. So as we go through the presentation, items that have been highlighted in green are from were previously approved with the certificate of no effect. Items that we're highlighting in red are items that we're here to review with you today. But you can see that we've used 30, building number 30 is a kind of datum line for our penthouse extension. This is the rear elevation. Again, here's number 24. This is building number 30. In this image, you can also see, or in this drawing, you can also see numbers 30, 34, and 36 through 38, a masonry extension as well. And then our proposed penthouse extension, again, picking up the roof line for number 30. Looking at the elevations in a bit more detail, on the left-hand side, you can see the 4 proposed planter boxes that we're proposing at the 3rd and 4th floor windows, the replacement casement window at the 5th floor, and the penthouse structure at the top of the building. You're seeing here the FDNY access ladder above to provide access above and over the penthouse, as well as the pergola structure. On the rear facade, all of the work that's shown down below was previously approved in April, as mentioned before. Here you're seeing our rear masonry facade extension and the penthouse. I'm going to quickly walk you through the demo drawings and proposed plans to show you the effects of all of this proposed work. So in our demo,
coming back to each of these things you've mentioned thus far.
yes, exactly.
Okay, fine.
So just real quickly, in the demo drawing showing that we're removing this existing casement window on the 5th floor. In the proposed section, we're showing the replacement of that window, the 2 windows on the 5th floor, the window flower boxes on the 3rd and 4th floors, and then our newly proposed high penthouse and pergola structure. I should note that the pergola structure on the north side has an 11'4" extension from the penthouse, and on the south side, we're proposing a 6'1" extension towards the south. And then here you can see the proposed masonry extension that picks up the party wall parapet line. In terms of the proposed or the demolition plans, again, there's no change here. The plans here on the 5th floor show the removal of the existing casement windows. And then in terms of the proposed plans, there's no changes to the lower levels. When we get to the 3rd floor, you can see the window boxes at the existing windows. Same as on the 4th floor, and then our proposed casement windows at the 5th floor. Real quickly, at the top floor penthouse, the work that's shown here at the front with the existing skylights were previously approved with a certificate of no effect. What we're showing here is a proposed landscape layout with removable planters, cabinetry. At the south side of the building, there is an outdoor shower an equipment closet for an outdoor hot tub, and removable planters and seating elements. And then again, at the top roof plan, you see the existing penthouse and then the two pergola structures on the north side of the house. These are photos of the existing roofscape, starting from number one, we're on the north side of the building looking south, an existing stair bulkhead, an FD&Y kind of access over some existing dunnage for mechanical equipment, all to be removed. These are photos of the modified mock-up that we had previously had mocked up the kind of lower penthouse addition. Here we're showing you the added framing on top of that structure to show you the raised height, along with the pergola extents of the pergola structure. So starting with image number one, here this time we're looking from the south side of the building. We're facing north. We're seeing the shorter extension of the pergola. Image number two is on, we're facing south. We're on the north side of the building looking back. So here's the larger extension of the pergola. And image number three is from a neighboring property, allowing you to see both the masonry extension of the chimneys as well as the overall pergola structure. And then real quickly, walking you through some photos along West 10th Street from 6th Avenue to 5th Avenue, starting with number one on the west end of the street, looking back towards the building. Number two is moving closer to our building. 3 and 4 are basically across the street. And then 5 and 6 move towards 5th Avenue. And at no time were we able to see the mock-up from the street. And then we've included some photos from our backyard looking towards some of the buildings that have the masonry extension on their facades for context. And then real quickly walking you through the rendered elevations. So again, there's no change to the kind of character or brownstone features or balcony railings proposed. Here you can see the 4 painted flower boxes and the replacement of the casement windows in kind. And then the pergola structure as well as the penthouse, which is a combination of a 3-coat kind of stucco system, and then an aluminum and steel structure pergola with aluminum louvers. And then the rear facade, again, this work was previously approved with a certificate of no effect. So what we're looking at here really is the masonry extension using salvage masonry from work that will be done kind of down below, married with kind of new brick to seamlessly kind of tie those pieces together, as well as the kind of rear facade of the penthouse.
And how much higher is it than the existing?
So the masonry extension proposed is 3'9".
3'5"?
Sorry, sir, 3'9".
3'9" above what's existing.
That's correct, yes. And then real quickly, we'll walk you through some relevant precedents. These are the drawings for 30 West 10th Street, which is what we are using to establish our kind of penthouse height. Here you can see that penthouse structure. So this is the street facade. And then the rear facade shows a masonry extension at the rear facade. And again, the penthouse structure. And then 34 West 10th Street, again, these are front and rear elevations, but you can see a kind of full width penthouse as well as a modest, in this example, masonry extension. And then this is 3638 West 10th Street. Again, slightly taller penthouse, as well as a kind of masonry extension of the rear facade. That's our presentation.
Okay, thank you. I want to be clear about the windows on the top floor are something that we're to approve?
The windows,
But it sounds like a staff thing.
so
The replacement in kind of the top floor windows.
the windows on the 5th floor front facade, we feel could be approved at staff level. But since those were not included in the certificate of no effect, we're including that work as part of this
Oh,
application.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm fine with my notes. Does the committee have questions?
Well, I must say that this is a remarkably well preserved or intact set of row houses. They seem that even the modifications that have taken place over the years have seemed to be very consistent with the whole row. So that's good to see. I believe what you represented in what's visible is that the penthouse is set back, even the pergola is set back far enough that you're not seeing that from the street, the public right of way.
No, sir, we're not seeing.
Okay. And that's, oh, and each of these houses in a row are single family and remain single family?
So I believe this collection of this building here is a multifamily, but we are single family, and I believe most of these are single family, yes.
Okay, that's all.
Anyone else on the committee? Eugene, do you have anyone?
I don't see anyone else.
Okay, I have one thing to the question of visibility. I visited there and one really can't see that you can't see because of the trees. As we've done before, I would suggest that what we'll say is that you represented that it can't be seen, and that we will, assuming we're going to approve it, which seems to be the case, subject to the staff verifying with an on-site visit. And what they did before and can do is simply go to the roof and you can see one direction, you can see the other, and verify that it's beyond visibility. Hey, thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
What vintage was it built?
Mid-19th century, 1853, 1854.
159 Bleecker Street. Renovate the ground floor level existing commercial storefront.
Okay, I am promoting Greta Hansen.
Join as post. Okay, and is it better if I leave this audio on and leave my computer audio off?
Turn the audio off, yeah.
Absolutely,
That's-
yours off.
That's how we've got it, so that's good. My name is Greta Hansen. I'm an architect. My firm is called Heights Studio Architecture. And hello, and I am in fact here today for a certificate of appropriateness for a commercial entry facade. So let me share my screen. Located at 159 Bleecker. That's on the north side of the street in between Sullivan and Thompson. The original building was built in 1917 or 18 as an arts and crafts style theater. And you can see over the 20th century, the various theaters that occupied this space. In the information that I have is from 2004 to 2007. That might be the timeline of the construction. There was a significant addition to this building, creating a total of 8 stories, as well as chopping off the left portion of the theater building and adding roughly roughly 15 feet to the west as a residential entry from which to get up to the new upper stories, so that behind the theater facade, there remained a single unit, which remains as such. It is a kind of double height space on the ground floor and a basement occupied by a single tenant. Because of the rather drastic change in the 2000s, I see this as more of a collage than a theater building at this point. And just to be clear on the elevation, this is a drawing of what exists now. This is an aluminum storefront infill. And just to distinguish it from the left portion, which we are not proposing to touch, that's the residential entry area. And then to the right and the left of the commercial storefront, there are two locations of brick infill, and I'll just poke up again where you can see the previously infilled brick, and then just up again to what used to be, I think on the right side, a box office window, and on the left side, theater poster displays.
That's correct.
Nice. I'm glad I got it because I had to zoom into that picture. So the areas that are highlighted in blue here are the proposed areas of removal. Rather, in the case of the storefront, that's just a replacement. And then in the case of the two rectangles to the right and left of it, to remove a portion of that infill brick and to install new windows. This is a collage of that front elevation, only coloring in the proposed new. You can see fixed windows with a small casement operable window and various glass textures, as well as a fluted aluminum panel at the lower portion of the windows where there's currently some utilities running, as well as a curved entry covering what is on the left side anyway, a steel column in the plan that takes you back to a slightly recessed door. That door will stay in its existing location. In very, very recent conversations with the staff that's helping from LPC, they recommended possibly, keeping only one form of textured glass, which would work out very nicely for the tenant as they occupy the space as an office space. So here, in fact, I think is the top proposal as a reeded glass in the door lights as well as the windows, with the upper windows having a clear glass. That touches on the windows and the door, but of course there is the existing marquee, which marquee canopy juts out over the sidewalk about 10 feet. It is roughly 17 feet wide at its widest. And it currently it's currently clad in a painted cement board, which needs some work, as you can see. Because this proposal is very similar to a previously approved proposal, which we can look at if you like. I'm showing the technical drawings for it. The proposal is to clad it in a painted metal. There's a small recessed ceiling, which we would propose to clad in a lightweight aluminum glossy black, what's called dye bond. I think that's a trade name. And to install small pin lights within the dye bond, I'm showing 1/2-inch diameter lights with a flange. And then the most noticeable item is the lines wrapping around the marquee, which are proposed to be neon, a 1/2-inch diameter neon. And in this case, I am calling it a halo lit neon, which you probably have not heard anyone describe before. This proposal, in order, even though the tenant is in fact using the space as an office, they have no desire to remove the marquee. And so we thought that it would be a nice way of more subtly referencing the former theater to put lights on it, knowing that any neon or light rather that would face outwardly would be a problem. We're proposing to dip the neon, the linear neons, 2/3 of the way in a blockout paint, which is a standard method of blocking out the brightness of a neon. You can either dip it or apply it with a brush. And that is what I've brought, except for the references, if you like, on previous approvals. I don't know who remembers this project, but it was here in 2017 with a different architect.
You remember that, Chanel?
Yeah, I'm sorry, was that it? I missed the end.
Oh, yes, that was the end, just with some extras in case you're interested in looking through more.
Let me see. No, we'll have other questions from the committee and then I'll speak.
Well, this is a good place to start because, you know, it's kind of perplexing in the sense that we're kind of not so great on neon. We see, of course, new LED lighting that looks like neon sometimes. But so what is the pattern that's going to be on the face of the marquee? Those just the line, the horizontal lines?
Yes.
And it's going to have what you call the shadow?
Well, it's called a blockout paint.
Blockout on the face, outward face,
Correct.
so that
it creates a halo lit effect that, you know, yeah.
Huh. So it doesn't look like it's quite continuous. These lines have some breaks. What is that pattern?
Yes, the lines just have a small little return at a few places along the entire length.
Because it's really neon and
Because
it
it
needs,
is.
I mean, it can't be.
You know, they may be able to continue it all the way, but I broke it 3 times along the length just to to remind the viewer that it is in fact neon instead of a fake LED or an LED version.
Yeah. That's certainly an interesting approach. And then the pin lights, 1/2-inch diameter, did you say?
I have them chosen as a 1/2-inch diameter.
That's the aperture, and then there's a flange around it or something?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't look like you'd have, it's not a flood of light, it's just a little bit of light for under the marquee.
Right, I believe that we'll probably have something like the amount of light that this one would emit. But they can be installed on a dimmer as well.
Okay. And you're getting rid of that ugly downspout?
Oh, so this one on the upper left, that is the drainage line for the canopy, which will now be routed through the building instead of visible on the exterior.
It's very good. Another very big improvement. That detailing at the end of the marquee against the building.
Right
wall.
here?
Yeah, what's going on there? Are you improving that?
From looking at that, so if you can see the top, it is sticking out about 6 inches. So we are going to install, so first of all, it will grow in size by the width of a stud so that we have a square face But that little bit hanging down, that can be snipped off.
All right.
That's not a
That's
structural element.
Original brickwork behind it.
Mhm.
Okay, so it seems that you're making new openings in brick where there used to be something there.
Some kind of either opening or display. I couldn't really figure out if this was ever a true opening. It has louvers above, so there was some part of it looks like it was an opening.
All three of
In a
those,
previous application, I think this is the third time we've heard this building. The representation was that they were originally two sign boxes, which seems reasonable, and that the circle and the square, perhaps a previous theater tenant, made the box office on the east side.
That makes sense.
yeah, these marquees in these photographs, totally different than what's there now. They
That's
seem
the circle and the square one.
I know, I wondered about it a lot, as if the structure underneath the circle and the square marquee was in fact this shape, because I can't think of a reason that this would have occurred. I mean, this space was a kind of gallery for a little while in between, before it became an office space.
Are there other questions of the committee? The marquee is an important thing. Part of our task is to preserve history, and you were very benign and generous about describing the upper level. I would have been more brutal, but in any case, the only thing that remains of the very important circle in the square, one of the most, I'd say, three really important off-Broadway houses that existed in the heyday of off-Broadway. And as the marquee is what recalls that it was there. Could you go to the rendering of the marquee as it will be? Are the ties still there? I couldn't see that.
The ties are still there, yes.
And the shape is the same. I think the rendering is probably doing it.
No,
You're just covering what's there with
yes,
but
it is true that if you see that the corners looked curved, because we are pushing out, we are also curving the corners in this proposal so that the neon wraps around the corners.
right, but it's still a trapezoid, not a rectangle.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's what I was concerned about. We normally, first of all, I think that opening those sides is a wonderful thing to do. It recalls the way it is just denies the original architecture, and this emphasizes it and uses it in a new way. And the marquee, normally we would, I'm saying this for the record more than for you, we do not permit any new neon in the village, only where there was a neon sign or one exists. In this case, it's being so treated as an architectural element, not a neon sign. I think we would be sympathetic to it. I just want to be clear that we're making a neon exception because of the way it's being used. And I'm familiar with the way you spoke about the dulling and painting. And I can say from professional knowledge that that is a very fine way to do it. It will give it less brightness. It will also be a little more less modern looking, a little more grungy village, if you will. All in all, I think it's a very fine improvement. and I hope it's the last time we hear this building. Thank you.
Thank
And also,
Well, what do you think, Chanel, about the textured reeded glass in all of the openings? That seems like it's off-putting for pedestrians and tourists. Does it all have to be?
It's a puzzle. I know why it's there, right? Because there's office that's going on, not selling dresses. I assume that's the reason.
It's why I showed this, an alternate version that just has the doors with the textured glass, because I find that to be more, typical. I believe that if we were to install the clear glass, the shades would be down all the time.
Well, that's true, but it's a different look. It's
yeah.
a different interaction with the passersby.
I think historically it may be a stretch, one could say that typically you don't look into the windows of a theater because it's private things or performance things that are going on. Some do and some don't. But it's not about selling the inside, if you will. I'm sorry, your modification was to have them only in the center.
I'm just trying to follow, sorry.
So his last question was.
What are you showing now in this rendering?
Yeah, this rendering shows clear glass.
Clear glass on the lower windows and textured glass everywhere else. And the other option showed textured glass on everything below 8 feet and clear glass above. This is
Since we have a choice, maybe we favor clear glass. I don't know. Does it look like a speakeasy or something if it's all? It's a question of whether the smoke glass is hiding something or is being somehow authentic.
The only thing I would say that as opposed to frosted glass, you will see the colors and you will see that there are things beyond. And I was thinking of a pretty small reeded glass or fluted glass, but the larger the flute size, the more visibility you have.
You're saying that there's a way to do some that you can think of that gives more of a haze of a view than to block it out.
Correct. Yes. And because
that might be the good thing to do because it's not they're not show windows. I don't want to.
Right. Currently, there's a mirrored film. I don't know if you can see that in the pictures, but there's a mirrored film over the storefront.
Right. Yeah.
It's actually a great place to check your outfits.
Almost as though there were gauze that we can see the things are going on, but not.
Yeah, I see that.
I would think that might be the. Okay, are there other questions or comments? Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
My computer's gone to sleep now. And West 10th Street, the application is to construct a new ground floor storefront opening and storefront, whatever that means.
Good evening. And it gets kind of late. It's late. So thank you for all this. Shall I share my screen and then I can tell you what it means? Okay. View. Okay. My name is Mary Derricks. and I'm the preservation consultant for the project. The architect Joseph Wasserman is on the Zoom and can answer questions if you have any. His email is architectco@gmail.com, if you wouldn't mind promoting him.
Sure, I'm just promoting him now, Joseph Wasserman.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. This building is in Greenwich Village, in the Greenwich Village District, on West 10th Street, and just one building east of Bleecker Street. It's a commercial area, and West 10th has storefronts between Bleecker and West 4th. Here's the building. It was built in 1911 and designed by Julius Kastner. It has always had one storefront on the right or west side. The proposal is to create a new storefront opening on the left side. Here it is looking west and east. So west, you can see the storefront and the building that isn't a storefront. On the going the other way, this is our building. This is the building next door. This was built a year earlier by the same developer, but with a different architect. And it also has one storefront on one side. I don't know why, but I think there may have been an internal plan reason for this, because it's more common if you're going to have the ground floor retail in this kind of building. It's more common to have two. Here are detailed photos. This is the right-hand storefront. This is what we'd like to turn into a storefront. This is the whole thing. And this is showing you the existing storefront and what it looks like in the proposed. Here it is in 1940, and also showing the building next door at 204, 206, and they have their storefronts in place. They actually always had storefronts, which you can see on the Bromley maps. There's a little S in both cases on the west side. Here's our proposal. So this is the proposed, not the existing. We're trying to echo the storefront next door, but keep as much of the existing material as possible. So it's not a match. It's just compatible. Here's the elevation. We're keeping the stone cornice. We're removing a stone band, so it's a little higher to look more like the storefront on the right. We're keeping the bottom stone band as a curb, which happens to be similar to the one on the right, which has, for some reason, a kind of tall brick curb. We're keeping the existing left-hand door and some of the brick around the door, and also the original stone band, which is this one. Here's the existing now, and the blow-up drawing, and here's the proposed. We're trying to keep the proportions more or less the same. I mean, here they're the same, but this is a plan of both of them, existing and proposed. This is a enlarged existing and an enlarged proposed. The steps, these are new steps. On the left, they are like the steps on the right. They lead down to the courtyard, and they need to be there. And here is the section. It's going to be the applied paneling. This is a wood storefront, and really, that's kind of it. Landmarks has approved some recent new storefront openings. You've seen 817 pretty recently, 817 Washington, 809 Madison. This one is actually the front of the building, because there's the entrance and there's a existing storefront, and this is a new proposed. These are older ones in the village. This was an opening, but it was changed and it was approved. This one was at 41 Greenwich was 2 openings, and it was approved to enlarge them. The stores on the ground floor in this period were pretty common on streets that were commercial, or like 10th Street, semi-commercial, I guess you'd say. Bleecker Street was like all commercial, 6th Avenue, all commercial. But 10th, Perry, those, they have a lot of commercial, but not totally. And these storefronts are there now, and a lot of times they were there historically, and probably originally, like the 2 at 10th Street. Here are storefronts on 10th Street that are in the same sort of building. It's not, it's common in a particular area for a particular purpose. And here are still more. Ones with, this one is at 77 Perry, as the storefronts flanking the entrance. And really, that is our proposal. Thank you.
Could you go back to the,
Yes.
I guess it's a rendering, or the what shows the 2 storefronts, right?
Well, that's the same as this one.
Okay. So it's inspired by, you're not mimicking it, you're in the similar style.
In a similar style, because we tried to keep existing. So this cornice is existing. This stone band is existing.
Right.
This stone band is existing. This brick is existing.
And what's about, it's apartments back there now, I assume.
Oh,
Or
yes, it is. And you can see that in the plan. The floor will have to be lowered. The floor is at grade on the existing storefront. It will be lowered for the proposed.
And it's basically 1 apartment's worth of space that's being used.
Yeah,
Or-
a small apartment.
Okay. Okay, that I think my notes are up to date otherwise. Are there questions, comments?
Yes, I have. Mainly, my comment is that we tend to want to save as much of the historic material on the facade as possible. And what I see is that I consider that top band of stone to be a very important part of the material, and the bottom band of stone as well. And especially since that neither one of those would substantially reduce the amount of glass as far as a store window, I personally wonder if it's possible to save both of those.
Yeah, it is. We had some comments early on by staff who kind of commented about how the one looked, we had the stone bands at the top saved.
Would you show the
And,
existing? That would help us maybe understand this.
I can't show you this. This is the stone band that we're
No, the
removing.
existing, the picture
Yes.
as it is now.
That's existing. So this is the stone band. We removed this amount of it. And the reason we did is because Landmark staff kind of thought, well, gee, it looks so much shorter than the other side. So it was kind of a difficult, we can do it that way. It was a difficult decision to go with something that is also historic, and that the storefronts tend to be kind of similar when they're on one side and the other, or go with keeping as much original fabric as possible. Those were we went with making it more similar to the one on the right, just based on Landmark staff comments, but you know, they didn't say you have to do that. It was just, they said, gee, that looks fine. As far as the bottom, I guess we could work that out and keep the other stone band, but it will look a little different.
Yeah, all I'm saying is that it's different historically, originally. We're working within that as context rather than trying to mimic the other storefront or any storefront. This is a separate storefront. So
yeah,
that's all it just struck me as being taking a little too much of the historic material away. So,
and we did, you know, and we did look at that. There are two ways that there's the historic material, which is very important, and then there's the whole idea of the design that would have been typical at the time, which would have had the storefronts a little bit more similar. And it's kind of a tough choice, but it's not, yeah, but it's true. We did try and save a lot, and yes.
and no exterior lighting. I see no exterior lighting. Is that correct?
Yeah, we hadn't proposed any signage. It would be difficult. I imagine when a tenant comes in, they're going to want something, but that would be. We're just not proposing anything. Landmarks, you know, they're going to be very picky about having anything on the stone, which is where the sign band is, and then there's also this fire escape there. So they may. I'm not making any promises, but I'm thinking they may just wind up with signage maybe on the transom.
Okay. Well, we're just dealing with your presentation, not what later by a tenant. Could you show the floor plan again?
Yes.
Floor?
This is existing. Well, it might be. This is both of them.
Okay. How much is that new store door, the entrance to the store will that meet ADA requirements? It looks very narrow.
Yeah, I think it has to. And Joe, if you're here and you want to answer that. Yeah, he's in. Joe? I would say, Joe is not answering. I would say it would have to, or else it's not going to get through DOB.
Yeah, I would think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Robert Chatham raised his hand. Is that
okay? Can you bring? That is the owner representative.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, no, hi guys, how are you? It's Robert Chatham. I think Joe, if you want to comment on the ADA, I think you just need to raise your hand and then they can unmute you. That's all I was trying to say.
Yeah, Joe's actually, Joseph is, he's allowed to speak. He just needs to unmute.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Barely.
Barely. Hold on. Let me see if I could hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so in regards to the ADA compliance at the entrance, well, the door is wide enough, but I do understand what you're saying in regards to the pull and push. Is that what you're referring to?
Well, yes, the access at the last, yes.
Okay, so I believe you're correct. I think that we may have to make it a little bit wider in order to accommodate the ADA compliance.
Okay, all right, just thank you very much. I commend you for bringing the floor down so that in fact there's no ramps or steps, so that's great.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right, Chanel? Did we lose Chanel?
Sorry?
Is our chairman still with us?
I think his connection may have dropped.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Eugene, you want to close it or continue or whatever?
There's someone with their hand raised or no?
No, that's Robert Chatta. So if we're done with, do we want to wait for Chanel to come back or should we move on to the next?
Well, we'll be discussing it in the business session anyway, so I would suggest we move on.
Okay, so I'll go and promote.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mary.
155 Bleecker is next. I'll promote Paula.
I couldn't skip this.
Give me one moment.
Floral arrangement.
Hi team, how are you?
Hi.
Hi everybody, thank you so much for having me here. Let me share my screen. All right. Let me know if you can see this. Yeah, everybody can see my screen? Okay, wonderful. Hi, I'm Paola Altamirano, project manager at Little Hen. We're a breakfast and brunch boutique having a location in 155 Bleecker Street. What we want to propose, first of all, I'll tell you a little bit of where we are. We're in the South Village Historic District. We're this little red dot over here. If you can see on the left-hand side is a historic text picture 1940s. So just to give you a little bit of context, what it looked like in the past. And then at the bottom, I have a picture of what it currently looks like. We're proposing a non-invasive, totally reversible artificial floral installation. And I'll show you a little bit of what that looks like. It would be designed by Floratorium. They've worked with a ton of places in New York already. And we just think it'll look really beautiful. We're also going to be looking at getting legalizations for this painted, I don't know if you can see my my mouse, but this painted signage that we have.
Yes, we can see it.
Oh, okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
And then also these pre-existing light fixtures. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second, but just to give you a little bit of context, this is what it looks like right now. These pictures were from current, but you can see, let me actually zoom out a little tiny bit so you can see it a little clearer. There we go. Okay. This is the Bleecker Street side, and then this is the Thompson Street side. And then to give you a little even more context, this is just a wide angle image of the whole building. What we're proposing is, a beautiful floral installation by Floratorium. We know that it's very important to keep, the building totally intact. Is the most important part. So we're not going to be drilling anything. There's no really permanent alteration that's going to be happening. We know we've talked to Floratorium. They made us understand that they've dealt with this quite a bit, so they know exactly how to, set this up nicely. It's fully reversible, so if we wanted to take it down the next day, we totally can. It won't leave a trace, and basically, the way that it would be mounted would be using, you see this awning that's here, and even like the little light fixtures, or just basically the awning. It would be a wire that you wouldn't be able to see. Nothing would be attached to the walls, but it would just kind of hold up the whole structure. And if we did need to put any or use the glass to mount anything, it would be using, I don't know if you can see me zooming in, but these suction cups where it's marked X, we would place those. You wouldn't be able to see those, and it would just help hold everything up. But the important part is that nothing is getting drilled into reversible, and we're trying to do this so that the building remains intact. A big important part of this that is not shown in the render is that, I'll show you real quick this picture. There's a cast iron column right here that we know that is really important to keep intact. So what we will be doing and what we want to propose is to keep it left exposed. So unfortunately, I didn't get a render in time for this presentation, but we want to keep that column totally exposed, so we wouldn't be touching it at all, because we know that's really important to keep intact. As well as we're going to be looking at the pre-existing light fixtures that a past tenant put up without permission. So we want to talk about that. What we're proposing is to keep them, but to paint them the same exact color as the facade, so that blue, so that it's not really noticeable. And what we're also asking to see is, you see this signage we have here. It was painted a few weeks ago, and we were hoping that we could get this legalized. And these are the exact widths and heights. Not sure if you need me to read them out, but it's painted. So if anything, we could go back and repaint it, the sizing that it would need to be. But the main important thing is, to make sure that this is legalized and okay to have. And let's see what else. Similar, something was approved recently was this 98 Thompson Street floral installation. It's a little bit different. I'm going to zoom in, but you can see that it's all around here. And it was approved on May 6, 2025, so really recently. And this is the certificate number. But yeah, pretty simple on just those three things from us. So basically just going over the artificial floral installation, reversible, and we'll keep everything intact, as well as this light fixture, turning it the color blue is the same as a facade. And then just, we wanted to see if it's possible to get this sizing of this lettering and this signage approved. But yeah, that is all from me. Pretty simple, but let me know your thoughts. I'm here to answer any questions.
Sure, if I could, I had a question
Yes, absolutely.
for the presentation. I had a question actually on the slide you're on now. So with looks like those are concrete planters.
Oh, yes.
How from the wall, or how much, I guess, how much will intrude onto the sidewalk? It looks like
So
it's
they
not
would be-
quite flush with the building.
It won't be exactly flush with the building, but it will be as close as we can get it to the building. And they're quite small. They're not very large, and we try to make them exact to size on this render. So you can see they're just there so that we don't have to drill anything or alter the sidewalk. It's just going to be something sturdy to hold everything up. But I don't believe that it will be too intrusive, as you can see over here. We're going to try it, and this one won't exist. This is just a little bit of an old rendering, but it will be 3 of them, 1, 2, 3, and they will be as close as we can get them to the building itself.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you're saying that the corner column will not have any of this decoration?
Yes, exactly.
All right. Then you're also presenting all of the sign lighting and the signs themselves. Were all that done by a previous tenant or yourselves? Or your
Absolutely. The light fixtures were done by a previous tenant. I just believe that they didn't get approval beforehand. So we're just asking if it's possible to keep those, but just paint them blue. And then the signage was painted a few weeks ago by Little Hen. But we are aware that possibly it's a little bit too big. And we just want to see if we could get it approved as is, or if we need to repaint it or change anything about it.
I wonder how bright the lights are at night. You don't have any visuals of that, do you?
I don't have any visuals, unfortunately, but not too bright. They're pretty standard. They're pretty normal.
Okay, so are these decorations fireproof?
I believe they would be. Floratorium has much experience with setting these up, so we can 100% double make sure, but I believe they should be.
Okay, anything else?
Yeah, I'd love to know, and I don't know if you have other clients or not, but why, in your opinion, why do you think these are so, are so popular, or so requested? I'd love to hear from your perspective.
From me, sorry?
Yeah.
The floral.
Yeah, like as an aesthetic.
Okay. So I don't know if you're familiar with our brand Little Hen. We're all about florals, dainty, beautiful. If you Bridgerton, if you've seen that show, we're very much like that. And I know that a lot of breakfast and brunch and just restaurants in general are very much starting to incorporate flowers into the aesthetic. I believe that it's because people, they want beauty for the eye, truly. If you ask me, I know this is pretty beautiful as is, but bringing in nature, even if it's artificial, I believe that's what kind of catches people, because people are craving nature and beauty in aesthetics. So I think that's why it's so eye-catching. People are really wanting that, and also, with just being in the concrete jungle, it's nice to see. It's nice to see some real nature, even though it's artificial, but it's nice to see it. So I think it will help, just the cityscape at that section.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Of course.
Okay, we'll have lots to discuss in business.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Also, I just wanted to let the committee know Chenault has dialed back in to the conference, so he is on the line as a dial-in participant.
Wonderful. Should I keep my presentation up, or are you guys all right for me to take it down?
Yes, you can.
Good. Yeah.
Yes, you can take it down.
Thank you. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next, we have 33 9th Avenue. Could the presenter for 33 9th Avenue please raise their hand so I can promote you? There you are. Okay. All right. So when you rejoin, you can share the presentation. Hi.
Hi, Eugene. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. So if you could just give an overview of the application and then go ahead and share the your presentation.
Sure. Okay, good evening. I'm Mary Langan from O'Neill Langan Architects. I'm here tonight to present to you the Baccarat store at 33 9th Avenue in the Gansevoort Historic District. We are seeking to legalize a light box that has been at the property since we believe around 2012 when it was occupied by Vitra. And our client would like to use it actually not as a traditional light box, but as a sign, a signage and illustration. And I'll present that to you. So can I share my screen, Eugene?
Yes, you should be able to go and share.
Okay. Let me see. Oh. Oops. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Can you see it now? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay. Okay. Okay, let me just move this. Okay. The Baccarat has leased this a space in a bigger building. It's 33 9th Avenue, and it's at the corner. The building is this building here. This is West 13th Street, and 14th Street is over here, and this is 9th Avenue. The corner of this building is occupied by Rolex on the ground floor. And then Tudor is here. So Rolex has these two storefronts and then this one here. And Baccarat has leased this space here. So it's two storefronts and then this bay where this, what we'll be talking about, lives, and then another storefront. And then this space right here is actually the entrance to Soho House. And we're seeking to legalize this light box because it has been here since, we believe, prior to 2012 when it was the Vitra store. And we would like to use it and renovate it. It's in incredible disrepair right now, and Baccarat is proposing to use it as a vehicle for signage. So not as a traditional light box. Our proposal is such that you'll enter our space here with the existing double doors that are here. We would like to replace those in kind because they're also in disrepair. And we'd also like to put a custom decorative pull on the doors here. The subject that we'll be bringing up through landmarks to gain hopefully a certificate of appropriateness is to take this light box, which is 12 foot 12 high, and it is 6 foot 7.5 wide. And what Baccarat is proposing to do is to use a technique with a non-directional black metal finish that will be laser cut. And then what will be behind it will be an acrylic, a white, milky acrylic. And then we will turn the lights on and that will glow. So that will create an illuminated sign. And I should also point out that our neighbors to the south, both Tudor and Rolex, both have illuminated signs as well. And then we will create kind of a banding here that will align with the existing window mullions, which are also black. And we will continue that brushed, non-directional brushed black metal. And we would like to etch into it this artwork, which is this one of the signature Baccarat crystal pieces. So we'll use that light box to become more of an art piece, more of a graphic, not a, a poster or something like you would see at Times Square. So very elegant and very much in keeping with the subdued nature of the building. This is the artwork, a blow up of it. So it is a proprietary piece that they have commissioned. And this here we're showing the poles that we'd be adding, which would be an etched black metal piece that's pinned back into the glass doors here. We believe that this light box has been in place here since Vitra occupied the space in 2012. When Baccarat leased the space, we were told by the landlord that we could use the light box. And then when we submitted it to Landmarks, we were told that it was never legalized, but it has been in place here for quite some time now. This is just, I want to show you the state that it's in right now. So it is in incredibly poor condition, and we would like to restore it and make it, very elegant and fix it and make it, part of our storefront here. So yeah, I think it's a pretty straightforward proposal here. I'll take any questions.
I had a question about I guess the illumination. Will both the logo, I mean, not the words Baccarat, as well as the artwork underneath, are they going to be lit in a similar way, or
Yes.
They're both lit from behind?
Yes. There's
Okay.
a light source, we believe. The landlords communicated that there's a light source behind this acrylic face here. The acrylic face, since my client has leased the building, there's been a vinyl over it. And so we are going to make sure that it's illuminated equally throughout the height of the box. That will be something that we'll have to make sure we test with the light fixtures that are there.
Okay. And as far as the illumination, will it be on during store hours, or is it planned to be on all the time?
Yes, most likely they will turn it on during the day. I would have to say you will not be perceiving any illumination from it during the day, just by the nature of what it is. And then the acrylic is a milk acrylic, which is, usually about a 1/4 to 3/8 inch thick. So the amount that you would perceive during the day will be negligible.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So you're also presenting that there was no set of doors on the north side?
Yes, there was no set of doors here. It's always been the one for this unit. This is a condo unit, commercial condo unit. And so this always was one unit. When it was Vitra, this was not a door. This was a show window.
Okay, but are you presenting that you're going to replace all of the storefront glazing?
No, we're not replacing the glazing or the mullions. We're replacing the doors.
The doors, okay,
Yes.
and then, okay.
Yeah, the existing doors, you can see here. So it's a black mullion system with a ladder pull, and we would like to replace those. In order to replace the pull, we need to replace the doors because the fittings for the ladder pull wouldn't fit with the handle that we would like to use, which is a much smaller handle than what's there. This is a 1'6" high pull that has an etching in the black metal that's in the shaft of it.
Okay, and then just following up on Eugene's question, there will be no light escaping from that box except through that laser cut metal face.
That's correct. So anything you see in this illustration in white would be illuminated. The rest of this is, let me see if I can zoom into this for you. It's a a non-directional black metal. It almost has a feel of black and steel, which you see in the district, you know. So we think it's the appropriate finish here. It's kind of a almost like a black and steel finish, okay?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, are there any other questions from the public? And Chenault, I see you, I see both of your numbers logged in, Chenault, so if you unmute, then you should be able to speak. Okay. All right. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you. Good night.
Right. Hello, G.
Hey.
Hi.
Okay, so Chenault's logged in twice, but he's logged in like by dialing in.
Yeah, he should be unmuted for, I can see.
You can see him, right? He's permitted.
Yeah, I can see the 2 and 2. Oh, it says now ask to unmute. He was unmuted.
Yeah, I mean, he like it's permitted to, like both
Yeah.
lines are permitted to speak.
Yeah.
I just renamed the other one. The other one was the cell phone.
*6 is what Mark said how to unmute.
Okay, so Chenault, if you hit *6, you should be able to unmute your line.
That'll only work on the cell phone.
Oh, really?
Well, try it
Hello?
on the landline.
Hello?
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 Hi.
Okay, well, I'm going back to speaker. I can't hear.
Okay, we can hear you. It's a little, I think the volume's a little low, but we can hear you.
I'm sorry, are the presentations finished?
Yes, we just finished with the last one, which is Baccarat.
Okay, I think it's better if you do the talking and I'll write and I'll comment now that I'm in touch.
Okay, all right. So let's move into business session.
Okay.
So let's go, I guess, in order. Go back to 42 Jane Street. So that was the stoop gate at the front entrance of the, the townhouse.
There seemed to be no objection.
Yeah, I didn't think there were any objections, right? I think there was one comment from Brian that it was a little wide at where it met the sidewalk, but I don't think that's anything that can be changed.
Okay, then Alice, it's then approved without reservation.
Okay. All right. So 40 Jane Street.
I'm back now. I have my whole self together, so I can talk and write. Leroy Street, the lower floor windows, mostly obscured by the.
Right.
Yes. And we seem to have no objections.
Yeah, I mean, I thought what's there currently is actually nice. But yeah, I guess they're choosing they want more light.
It's exactly in line with things over and over.
Mm-hmm.
Just happens this one shows.
Okay.
Greenwich Avenue, the only objection I see is in connection with the penthouse.
Okay, so
it's going to show, if it exists at all, it's going to show a lot.
Right.
The question is what shows a lot, unless we say they can't have a penthouse.
Was this one where they done the wall with the chimneys? Was that 104 Greenwich?
Yeah, it ends up a sheer wall. That was my objection.
Yeah, that,
Yeah.
it looks
The
very
next person-
monolithic.
You mind a penthouse that shows a great deal on this street. This street is the only justification I can think of, rather than 10th Street or 11th Street or 12th Street or Perry Street.
Yeah.
If we don't approve the penthouse at all, then there's no more to discuss.
So should we just not approve the penthouse?
What do the others say?
Brian, what do you think?
I agree that we should suggest that they look at designs that would differentiate the penthouse from the rest of the wall, the side wall. And just let the
So
chimneys,
we approve the penthouse, but it must be set back within the roof so that there's a separation between it and essentially the chimneys.
Right.
yes. We've
Yeah.
we've had similar situations like that before. I think that they were more successful when there is a break from the, say, the parapet wall horizontally to the additional penthouse wall.
I think we have to justify what I call in the other ones, aggressive visibility somehow, because we've had such a thing about Greenwich Village, and the one on beside the church on 4th Street and some others have sort of skirted, but they were oblique and whatnot. And this one is boldly, it's a penthouse on top, and there's no mistaken. And there's nothing that mitigates the visibility. That's why I'm worried about it at all. I'm inclined to think there can't be one.
Well, I would say there's no question that this addition is very visible from the public right of way, and that's a major criteria. So we're, in dealing with what we're responding to, we're responding to an addition that is very much obvious from the public right of way, and that massive wall changes the scale of the building to such a degree that we feel that that's inappropriate. So
I do.
And also they're using the same material.
To modify the criteria to this extent. The others we have not even rationalized. There's been a reason that they blend and are sort of part of the whole scape. This one just sits there. And I think for that reason we can't approve it.
Yeah, I agree. It's just, it's so monolithic from that side profile that they had in their presentation. I mean, it looks like the side of a factory.
And they know that it's visible, and
right.
And they if they don't know, they should know what the guidelines are in the village. And it's right in the village also. It's not, sort of in the village or. So,
right. And the only other example they gave, similar
otherwise it's
type of
acceptable.
was.
And I'll write a good deal
Yeah.
about the reason for the denial, not just that we don't like it. But everything else seemed to be in order, and I didn't hear any objections to it.
yeah, no objection here.
Yeah, the rest of it seemed fine.
Yeah. Okay. 24 West 10th Street is one of the most beautiful of those buildings inside. Planter boxes. There are plenty, and he wasn't, we saw the design, but it wasn't, I would say, to the extent that they have historic character.
I thought it was well designed and it is not visible from the public right away, so it's very satisfying that way. Blends with the
Right.
rest.
So
Yes.
the planter boxes.
Planter
Oh, are
box.
you on 10th Street, Brian?
Pardon?
Yeah. The planter boxes were the first item.
Oh, the planter boxes on 24 West 10th?
Yeah, the third and fourth floor. I'm not planter boxes, window boxes.
Oh, right, the window boxes.
Yeah, well, it's a minor element. Are there window boxes any place else on that facade? I mean, other adjacent facades? That seems like well,
I don't think neighbors have, he didn't show anything that said neighbors had them.
it seems like an appropriate touch to Mohawk.
Row, to the extent that we can preserve it, we could say provided that there are others in the row.
I have no objection to accepting what they presented.
Yeah, and I think actually in the example they gave for 36 and 38 West 10th Street, that has proposed window boxes or planter boxes as well.
Okay, thank you.
So we'll give them that, good. Place and fifth floor windows, I can't guess why that came to us, but it did. So we'll say it's okay. The question of the visibility is very dodgy because of the trees. I had no idea that, I didn't remember that block was so, it's like a forest. And you simply can't see that you can't see with the trees there. So long ago we had some sort of a thing that Landmarks was able to verify it by an on-site visit. And I suggest that we approve it provided that they can verify that it's not visible.
Okay.
Yeah. Sounds reasonable.
The aluminum steel pergola. The masonry extension at the back, I'm not sure I'm clear on the purpose, but it doesn't show certainly. And a neighbor had done it for some reason too. Maybe it's to avoid a fence. But no one's expressed an objection to it.
Yeah, since it's not
Do
visible.
I have everything? It was such a back and forth and skipped around presentation. I was fearful for missing something, but I think those are the 4 points as he outlined them at the beginning. No one has anything that I've missed, right?
No, I don't think so. Ryan, Valerie?
Yep, you got it.
Bleecker Street.
The theater,
It's
right?
always a good idea that I've worked in a building that comes to us because I'm familiar with it. The infill and the sign boxes converted to windows seem to have agreement. And how I'm trying to think how to describe the glass that we agreed on.
Okay, well,
Minimally
reeded glass. I think that I prefer the option that was presented where only the center door set got the textured reeded glass, and the other windows, the new windows and the transoms Glass. I know that they will use drapes on the inside, but that's okay. So that would be my preference, but except for the glazing, I found no objection to what was presented.
Okay, then what do I say that the glass is that we agreed on some, but I'm not clear how to word it.
So I think it's what they're proposing as option 1, right? But it's where the new windows are clear glass to the left and right of the doors.
Well, that's what
the center. I'm just hearing bad. The center ones are obscure, the side ones are clear, right?
That's right.
Okay, and minimally so for the center. Okay.
Yeah. That's what I'm stating as a preference, and it was presented, so if we have a choice, that would be my choice. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Well, I'll put that in. We'll see how it flies. 10th Street. I suppose we have to consider it because Landmarks has not said they can't. It's a huge thing to do this. We could say that we object to it's being done at all.
Oh, putting a new storefront.
I must say I was surprised that such an application came.
And it made it this far, yeah.
Okay, so
we talk about 3 courses of brick being preserved some places, and this takes the whole thing away. And it seemed the only justification was that the other side was done, I would assume before designation.
that was their justification, but I don't feel it's enough of a justification to take out so much of the historic material.
No, I'm first going to deal with whether to do it at all. And if it can be a storefront, then your point is well taken. Are we not objecting to do it at all?
I am not objecting to doing it.
I'm, I guess, leaning toward objecting to doing it.
You're saying, do we have an appetite for rejecting the whole thing?
I can't think of another time that we've ever approved it. We're assuming the other one was done before designation.
And now I'm trying to look at the report.
And that's why I'm nervous about it. And it doesn't in any way help. If anything, it hurts the block. Other than helping it, if we consider it just seems to fly in the face of the concept of preservation.
Right, if it's tearing out so much of what was originally there.
And something intact too. And of a substantial design, or I don't think elegant would be right, but.
Well, that does bring up a memory of the one in the meatpacking district where the store wrapped around the corner and they were going to punch out a big part of the brick wall to do another picture window when there were plenty of other picture windows. And so in that case, we said, no, you should preserve what's remaining of that masonry wall. In this case, it's very different. In this case, it's a change of use, and they're trying to adopt that portion. And I think they're already going to be redesigning it for making sure that the entrance is ADA accessible. I think that the rest of the storefront could be redesigned to save as much of the historic material as possible.
This is what it says, this is what it says in the designation report. Because we're on number 6, right? Right, we're on number 6.
Yes.
Yeah.
Number 6.
With cornice aligned with number 204 to 206, the 6-story apartment house of brick was built 1 year later in 1911, also for Charles Weinstein, and was designed by the same architect. It has a simple rectangular windows with console bracket keystones, and there is a parapet above the cornice. The central entrance door has an entablature carried on shallow brackets.
So that band is important, at least in that designation report, because it matches what is next door of the older building.
And also, it's not as though this is a bay. This is, the entire ground floor is lost. Whereas we still have half of the ground floor preserved. I just don't think I can support the demolition. It's essentially a demolition and rebuilding we're speaking of.
And for 204, 206 in the designation report, it says that at 204-206 that the ground floor shop front there was remodeled in 1931.
It is also a residential block with a few stores.
Yes.
What's to say that next door is not going to want to do both of theirs?
Yes, for that block, the overall comments from the report is most of the buildings on this street have individual features of interest. Let's see, exceptional fire escape balconies, handsome example of federal design. To be regretted, however, is the alteration of a small federal house in the middle of the south side on the street. Here, the overbold treatment employing several materials at the added third floor with stepped parapet is out of harmony with the federal doorway below and the block as a whole. Architectural controls of a regulatory body would have prevented this unnecessary diminution of the quality of the street. Okay, so where are we landing?
So, is there support for denying it?
I would support denying it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, Chanel, we'll support denial.
I'm hearing badly. What's the consensus?
All of us are supporting denial.
Brian, are you persuaded by our
Yes.
persuasion?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Okay, I couldn't hear. Do we deny it or do we discuss it more?
Deny.
Thank you.
Deny, Chanel.
And I'll word this very, very carefully about preserving and the half of the building still is because it's intact and it will be longer than may be necessary.
Well, I think it's regrettable if they, because it's so irreversible what they're proposing.
I'm somehow wonder why it came to us and wasn't nipped in the bud at the commission, but maybe they're not authorized to do that. I mean, clearly it was always going to come to the commission. Artificial force, I actually heard most of that because I got back on. And what we have established is that we only approve them for a special situation temporarily. They want to keep them, is that correct? They want it to be a permanent fixture. Did I understand that correctly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't clear from the.
I think Chenault, we also need to, the materials of it, sound like she really didn't know if the florals were going to be flame retardant. And there's been in other historic districts where in CB2 where through a criminal situation that something else was being lit on fire over on Prince Street and the florals caught fire very fast.
Hello. Sorry, I was trying to do the volume and I cut off.
I was going to say, if we are going to approve this or disapprove it or say we approve it temporarily, that to make a comment about them being flame retardant, because we've had situations in historic districts where through a criminal act unrelated to the florals, the florals caught on fire pretty quickly. Does that make sense? So a comment about the material, about them being flame retardant.
I think it wants to be flame proof, right?
That what?
Proof?
Flame proof. It can't burn like a piece of metal can't burn.
Sure.
Flame retardant can smolder and do ugly things.
Oh, okay. I'll trust your interpretation.
What I'm not clear is, were they asking that it be permanent? And that was my understanding from the.
I think they were asking for it to be permanent. They were just pointing out it could be reversed if necessary, but they weren't proposing that it's a temporary installation. They wanted it to be permanent.
Well, in that case, on our precedent, we would deny it outright, and if they want to come back and have a special event.
Okay.
Yes, also, I think if we're denying it, we should also point out that
resolution about the other one.
I don't know if Brian, hey, Brian.
This sound problem we're having is making it very hard to conclude our business. And we're having to repeat ourselves. We're not getting our points across. This is not really working. And I don't know what the problem is technically, but it's interfering with the meeting. And I think maybe Eugene needs to take over and maybe transmit it afterwards to get it done. But we also need to make the point that putting pots on the sidewalk, even if they're not fixed to the sidewalk, that seems like a violation of what's allowed on the sidewalk. I'm not sure, but it seems like it.
Yeah, that was sort of my question, because it wasn't clear how much it was encroaching onto the public domain of the sidewalk, right? I mean, and she didn't actually have any dimensions for the concrete planters or whatever they were. So, we're so concerned with clear path for sidewalks in general. I don't know that we can approve this without just by going off what we were presented, right? Because there were no measurements of the sidewalk at that point. There's no measurements of the concrete planters. And then the aesthetics, I mean, I don't know about the aesthetics of having this in the middle of the village either, or the precedent for approving something like this.
Right.
Our
Right, that's why
principal thing was that it spoiled the historic character of the district and obscured historic buildings.
Yes,
That was the
agreed.
core of our.
So is it a denial? Is it a denial, and say for them to apply for a temporary permit?
I think that's up to them to apply for.
Okay. Okay.
An alternate is not before us. And
Yeah.
we don't generally suggest unless it's something so obvious that.
Yeah, I think we just need to deny this and give the
Make it
reasons.
short.
for it.
Shorter.
Okay.
Okay, so then the light fixtures and the previous, and the signage. The sign painted on the,
All right, there's also the issue of the signage.
yes,
Ninth Avenue,
Oh, no,
Yeah,
we're
we-
still on 155 Bleecker. The other portion of the application was to legalize their signage. Because I think that what they have was not ever LPC approved, was my understanding.
correct. And the light fixture from a
Right.
previous tenant.
Right, so there's the light fixture that's uplighting onto the signage. There's the lettering for Little Hen. And then there's the picture of the chicken.
I personally have no objection to those elements.
Yeah, I think the logos and the lettering seems fine. They had a question about about painting the light fixtures blue. If that was, they offered that.
Yes, I think it's a good move. I don't like the yellow.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
didn't
so-
hear that presentation.
So what, there's an existing fixture.
Painting the light fixture.
Yeah, they had offered to paint it the same blue as the facade so that it wouldn't be as visible. And I think the consensus is that we think that would be the right move.
Okay, good. And the sign is okay as it is, and it should I put conform to regulations? Or
Yes.
is it clear that it?
Yeah,
I think, yeah, conform to regulations for like the height, right? And size of the logo.
yes,
But that, we almost always put that. Ninth
Okay.
Avenue. From the drawing, the fact that it overlapped the edge of the masonry into the window area looked a little odd, but not terribly odd. Based on the drawing, I didn't have objections to it, so you all say what you know.
Yeah, I didn't really have any objections to this.
Same.
Valerie and Brian?
right. I was trying to imagine if we did not approve that box, that what would be the improvement to that facade? And it goes together, the two storefronts on both, one on each side. So I would accept or, okay this.
Their proposal.
Yes.
And I think that's the only part of their application, right? It's the illuminated signage, what they're calling the light box.
Yes.
My understanding that it itself is illegal, and they wanted it legalized and change it to their own logo, which was a perfect acceptable picture.
Right, that's correct. I think they were told that it was approved when they took over the lease, and then they found out it was not the case.
Okay, we all know about Monday.
Yes.
Yes, so Monday is just the one application. Although it's a very large one.
And Valerie, you will be at the Monday meeting to ensure that we're okay, yes?
Yeah. Sure. It
It
was nice to be back.
That just can't say anything because I don't know anything to say. Thank you very much, everybody, and thank you, Valerie. I just tried again, and it's not on my end because I tried on 2 computers. It goes on about 2 inches, which means that the server is refusing.
All right.
All right.
Do it again on Monday.
Thank you all. See you. Have a good
Thank
weekend,
you.
everyone.
Bye. I will end the meeting.
Okay, bye.